So welcome to 60 Seconds with the Allen Firm. Today I am honored to speak with Dallas Sims. So Dallas, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You bet. So Dallas is the fire chief for the Erath County Fire and Rescue. Dallas, and you are also a lieutenant with Station 18 in Dallas, which, from what I hear, is the busiest station in the Metroplex. So you're a Charleston State University grad, undergrad and master's, and then were able to attend the 2-year National Fire Academy School in Maryland. So that's great, Dallas. So thank you.
Thank you.
So today, I just had a few questions for you, and we'll try to keep it as short as possible. So really, there's many people who are not familiar with a county volunteer fire and rescue. So can you give us a short overview of really who you guys are and a little bit of details about what you do?
Sure. Erath County Fire Rescue started in 2003. I've been one of the fortunate ones that's been here since the beginning. On a day-to-day basis, we are essentially a 100% volunteer fire department. We do have a couple of compensated volunteers that are here during the daytime just to get that first response out. But otherwise, at night and on the weekends, there's no one staffed here. We respond to everything from car wrecks to grass fires or structure fires, search and rescue, water rescue, technical rescues, and then anything else where someone has an emergency and they just don't know who to call. The fire department who gets called.
Now, is that everything in the actual county, or do you guys also team up with the city as well?
So within the city of Stephenville, they are the primary response department, but if they have an incident that's of significant size or requiring significant manpower, they call us, and we're more than happy to assist. And that goes for the area around in and around Dublin. And then we automatically aid all the smaller volunteer fire departments throughout the county.
Okay, great. How many volunteer firefighters do you have in your department?
Currently, we have about 40. We keep a pretty full roster. We're pretty fortunate not to struggle like a lot of departments throughout the nation. We get a lot of volunteers.
Okay. So tell me, I have to know, what is it actually like to completely gear up and fight a fire? What is that like?
So for what most people understand of firefighting, we put on our gear and go into a structure fire. The part that you don't see or you don't feel is whenever you are completely contained inside of your gear, adding on anywhere from 35 to 45 pounds of gear, and then going into an IDLH or immediately dangerous to life and health environment. The fires maybe anywhere between 500 and 1200 degrees.
Wow.
That heat will push you down to the ground. And then for us, being limited manpower compared to where I work on a daily basis, you're doing this with limited manpower, limited water. So we have a unique set of tactics that we have to do. But when you in a calm environment and training, it's not a big deal. But when you add the stress of a rescue or trying to save someone's property, it can be pretty intense.
Intense situation. So from a firefighter's perspective, is that the biggest safety concern, like being injured in a fire?
It is a big concern, but it's not our most common concern. More often than not, we don't get a lot of structure fires throughout the year, but we do work a lot of wrecks. And so our biggest safety concern that is most prevalent and is one of the higher line of duty deaths throughout the nation is firefighters getting hit on the highway due to inattentive or distracted driving, typically.
So you guys are working the wreck and somebody comes by and not paying attention, And
Not
the laws on that are what when you're a
so.
driver?
Um, and this goes for any public safety officer on the side of the road, whether it's police or fire. You're supposed to, if you have the opportunity, change lanes,
Okay.
and get away from whoever is pulled over on the side of the road, or get away from the closest lane that they're in. But typically out here in Erath County, we've only
Yeah.
got one lane.
Yeah.
So the law that it would apply in most cases would be to slow down 20 miles below the limit.
Okay.
The speed limit. So if you're on a 70-mile-an-hour highway, 50 miles an hour is
Okay.
the limit.
Okay. Thank you. So what's one of the biggest ways our community or, other communities in their fire departments could really help you guys?
So the thing that is takes a lot of time out of our hands is obviously our response. We're going to calls, we're rolling equipment, we're lights and sirens wherever we go. And when that happens, people pull off the road. We're taking time away from our families, and we don't mind. That's what we signed up for. But when the call is not a necessity, that we respond, like your neighbor calls in your controlled burn that you've set, and you're sitting there watching it, and everything's fine. We're grateful that everything's fine, but now we've taken time away from our friends, our family, our job. And then created a large liability in response.
Yeah.
So if people will call in those controlled burns, that will allow for dispatch to check in with you, the person who's burning, and they can verify that they are there, that everything's under control, and it saves everybody time and resources.
Yeah. So then you won't have to actually go get all the equipment, get the truck, manpower it up. Okay, that's good. So right now, is there any equipment like your department needs, and how can we, the community, help raise funds or donate to that in any way?
Sure. So right now, one of the pieces of equipment we're looking at in purchasing is thermal imaging cameras, which we use for search and rescue, for finding the hottest part of the fire to extinguish it, to finding down firefighters in the event that something terrible has gone wrong. We've got 2 old cameras that are aging themselves out, like any technology does, and we're looking to replace it with a more efficient and better visibility camera. We're looking at replacing it with 4 of them. They're a great tool, and we would use them a lot.
And then are we able to donate? Like, is the community able to donate? Because you guys are not part of the county, so you are, if I understand, you're a 501c3 where you can receive donations.
That's correct. So here, donations can be received here directly at the fire station. You can send them to our address, and I can give you that information.
Okay, that's great. Dallas, thank you. And it was an honor to speak with you. And just, on behalf of us and our community, thank you guys for all you do, all the recs, all the fire, all the protection. And the same goes for the city department. So we really appreciate you guys. So thank you.
It's our honor to serve. Thank you.